What's up, everybody? We're back.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back to a Metalhead's Journey. Guys, we're back on the top 50 metal albums list. We are almost to the very end here. We have reached the number 2 album, and no, not that number 2, because this is not that, okay? This is the number 2 greatest metal album of all time from Black Sabbath. This is Paranoid.
Yeah.
Dude, so glad to be here. Love this album. I know you guys are gonna crap all over it, so I went ahead and had a couple of drinks just to kind of ease my pain and kind of get used to this. As you guys can see, we are without Adrian today, and that's unfortunate because he's usually my backup whenever we get into these Black Sabbath Ozzy discussions. So,
and I will say right now, he spoiler alert. He has the highest score for this album.
He's using my backup, so unfortunately, I'm going to have to educate these booger-eating morons on my own. So I will do my best. Please feel free to leave some comments down there telling these guys how stupid they are. And look, I hope you guys watch it. I will try to be, like the spokesperson for the intelligent masses here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to overcome the stupidity on this side. So hey, let's go ahead and get into the history of the band here, and then we'll hit the metal rundown. As I said, we're talking about Black Sabbath. This is the album Paranoid. This is number 2 on the top 50 metal albums list of all time. Black Sabbath, formed in 1968, were an English heavy metal band formed in Birmingham. The band was founded by John Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Terry Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. They are often cited as pioneers of heavy metal music. Previously known as the Polka Tulk Blues Band and Earth, the band settled on the name Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath have released 19 studio albums, including their most recent album, 13, which was released in 2013. The album was the first to feature Ozzy on vocals since 1978's Never Say Die. They've sold over 70 million records worldwide. They were ranked by MTV as the greatest metal band of all time and placed second on VH1's 100 Greatest Artists of Hard Rock. They have won 2 Grammy Awards and were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. Paranoid, released in 1970, is Sabbath's second record. They began recording this album only 4 months after the release of their self-titled record. Most of the songwriting took place on stage while performing jam sessions during their sets. Paranoid was actually the last track to be written and recorded for the record. They determined they didn't have enough tracks for the record, and they threw the song together in about 2 hours. Paranoid peaked at number 12 on the Billboard chart. The album produced 2 singles, Paranoid and Iron Man.
I will say...
Which I learned today was originally titled Iron Bloke.
Yep.
Changed.
I will say, changed. Paranoid being thrown together in 2 hours.
That's pretty crazy.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they should have thrown more of the songs together in that manner, because that's a great song.
It is.
See, here we go. Because the fact that you're coming out here and saying that Paranoid is a great song, and based off some of your text messages earlier referencing that it's going to be really high on your list, it really shows people that know that you don't know shit about what's going on here with Black Sabbath, all right? I just want you to know that, okay? Because no real honest Black Sabbath fan is coming out here saying, hey, man, Paranoid, great song. Love it.
Oh, man.
Gotta jam it every day.
I mean, look, I mean, that's just copium on your part, and that's fine. I cope on things as well.
Let's get into musicality here, okay? Let's talk about the musicality of the record. Dave, why don't you go first? Terrible opinions.
Look, I think I need to bring this up. I think the musicianship, the musical leap from their self-titled album to this album is highly notable.
Yes.
Not dissimilar to the number 1 band in our list, Metallica, from their debut to their second album.
Spoiler alerts.
Spoiler. I think Sabbath here really hit their stride with Paranoid, and specifically a decent amount of the first half of this record specifically. But I think overall, just the general tone of the record this is a lot more of the foundation of heavy metal, whereas I think their self-titled is more of the foundation of like a doom metal album, mixed in with classic rock, right? I think this is
Yeah.
where you get the first real like what I would call traditional heavy metal sound with this album.
Crunchy.
Yeah, I think Master of Reality is really the album that they hit their stride on, like where like every song on there is a banger, and it all kind of has a similar feel, like in terms of we're all going towards this one sound of being metal. Whereas the first album is very much like, would you even? I don't even know if half and half is even right, where it's a lot of blues and then it's some metal, and then this record comes along and it's like here's a little bit of blues and more metal, right? And then it gets into Master of Reality, which is just kind of like a straight metal masterpiece. But 9.8.
I like how you
Master of
got your
Reality.
opportunity to talk about that record again. Look,
Yeah.
I think Paranoid is I think for a lot of people, I'm not speaking to the longtime fans who, I mean, they're gonna have their opinion regardless of what I say anyway. But I think for a lot of people, this is kind of where Black Sabbath really starts for them. For a lot of folks, I think that's a very fair statement. And
Yeah.
I think we talk about track listing a lot because I think it's really important, especially when you're digesting an album from start to finish. I think starting off with War Pigs is such a great start there, and just overall, like just for me,
Physicality, Dave.
yeah,
Stay
I
on
mean,
point.
I'm getting there. But I mean, for me, Tony Iommi completely steals the show. He the riffs here are like for a lot of this for a decent number of the songs are very very memorable. And his guitar work is very well done across the board. So
All
Go
right.
ahead, Jez.
Musicality, I thought everything sounds good as far as like each of the instrumentations. I thought everybody brought whatever they could to the table. It felt like they were trying to make something important. And I'm with Dave as far as the Tony Iommi. There's, I would say, I can't really think of, let's just remove Metallica because we're all very familiar, but how many like guitarists out there create not just like a great riff, but like an iconic riff? And then to have uh, three of them, and I know there's more, but I mean, three like that the whole world knows as soon as you hit play, they're like, oh, that's it. It's like I said, the musicality is on point. Uh, Ozzy brings it. He changes up his vocals on a few of the songs, so it's not just the same old Ozzy. Uh, Drums are fine. There is bass. So
Hold
I don't
on.
have.
You gotta stop right there. What exactly do you mean there is bass? Because we're talking about Geezer Butler, who is probably look, if he's not the greatest metal bass player of all time, he is in that top tier echelon, top five.
I don't ever
I
hear him stand out 100% over what I hear as far as the main guitar riffs.
What exactly are you listening to this album on when you listen to it? I'm
My
just
headphones.
curious.
My headphones.
The
My
ones
Ray.
you're wearing right now?
No, my Raycons.
not
Are those
sponsored.
good headphones, supposedly?
They are good.
Supposedly.
Hey, we would take us. We love Raycons. Raycons are great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Raycon, apparently you gotta juice up your bass in there because I mean this is
Hey, look,
ridiculous.
and I'm just
I'm not
saying, like,
even the bass guy.
I know, but like I said, it sounds fine to me, but for me, all I hear, and I'm not saying as a recording level, what I'm saying is as a matter of importance, the
So
main guitar riffs on this album stand out above all.
So look, Josh, I know what you want to hear, and I will echo some of what I think you want to hear. I think Geezer Butler absolutely shines on a number of the tracks. His bass work is he's essentially a second guitar player a lot of the time. Um,
Dave, I don't need you to patronize me. I know what it is.
I'm not patronizing. I'm being truthful.
Just because
Um,
you guys can't hear it.
I mean,
no, I think Geezer Butler is an integral part of
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
Black Sabbath sound.
Look, you put Geezer Butler and Tool. That's a way better band.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Put them in Dream Theater, bro. Dream Theater actually makes it.
Oh, they do, huh? Oh, they do?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll call them up. Tell them John Mayung's out. Geezer Butler's in.
Yeah, John who? Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Jesus.
John Mayung is a uber accomplished bass player, but whatever.
We would
Yeah,
assume that
he's
Adrian
absolutely fine.
would assume that Adrian would be like, yeah, everybody's fantastic, everybody's great.
Actually,
That's the worst Adrian impression I've ever heard. Hey, let me go real quick. Listen, you guys are 100% right. This is absolutely the Tony Iommi show. The riffs on this album are absolutely legendary. And to what Dave called out earlier, it's a note that I also had. Just the songwriting is just vastly improved. I mean, the fact that it's only a 4-month gap when you go from the first Sabbath record to this one, I mean, it's borderline a different band. So to see that jump was really impressive during that time. And I mean, Ozzy again is just he's crushing it, man. I wish I could see this era Ozzy live.
yeah. So I want to read Adrian's points here real quick. Musicianship, Adrian has it is just awesome. Everybody brings their A game. Nobody's left behind there. And for him, Adrian echoes the same thing that the three of us do. Standout is the guitars. So Tony Iommi would probably be his MVP.
Yeah, so let's get into entertainment value for the record here. So as we've seen here for like the top 3 albums, spoiler alert, we know we got Master coming up here pretty soon, but they're certainly succeeding with the 8-track method. You got 8 songs on this record. It's a cool 41 minutes, 51 seconds. So nice, easy listen. And I think there's certainly some dynamics to this record, right? It's not like a Slayer record where it's all gas, no brakes, right? Like on this one, you have like some upbeat, some up-tempo songs in it, some heavier metal, and then you do have a couple of tracks that are a little bit more laid back, like Planet Caravan or Hand of Doom, right? So
yeah, you have some tracks on this record.
So I like the difference in dynamics. So for me, entertainment value wise, this has a little bit of everything, right? It's got some blues, got some metal on it as well. So it's got a little bit of everything to entertain the intellectual masses.
Yeah, I'll go next. I'll get Adrian's out of the way. So Adrian says it's an easy listen. The album makes me happy, like Blizzard of Oz, and he also wants to point out a perfect track order. Look. This is where we're going to get into some of my issues with this record. Full disclosure, my score is going to be a positive one. So just want you to know that. My entertainment value for this record, I do think the record is an easy listen, but only after I skip specifically a couple of tracks off the record. Completely. I think this record is incredibly front-loaded, minus Caravan. I think that song is that song is perfectly fine for being released in 1970. I have nothing against the song. If you're into psychedelic rock, then that is great for you. That's fine. If you like any of the songs on here, that's fine. But for me, this is just not my deal. So after like my requisite, 3 or 4 listens of this record, I found myself just instantly just next. Let's get on with the show. And then Rat Salad. What is that? That is just not a good song. No one.
What's wrong with the song? We're not even talking about that right now. But what is wrong with the song?
Oh, it affects my entertainment value. That's why I'm bringing it up. It hurts it negatively.
What exactly is wrong with the song? I want detailed notes.
You're not going to get that. It's a subpar mess of a drum solo that doesn't need to exist on the record. It doesn't add any value to the record.
I just want to apologize to the fans of Metalhead's Journey out there that this is a subpar production, as we are not prepared with detailed notes as to why exactly something is not good. Go ahead, Dave. I apologize.
It's 2.5 minutes of Bill Ward just kind of flailing his arms around on the drums with reckless abandon. Like, it's whatever. It to me, it doesn't have a place on this record. Its place was on the cutting room floor, and they lifted it up and shoved it in here to fill time. That's my opinion, and I just think. I mean, look, it's 2.5 minutes, but it's a track on the record, and I skip it every time, 100%. Generally speaking, after Iron Man, my entertainment value is whatever. Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, then Rat Salad, and then you end with Fairies Wear Boots. Like, yeah, I'm entertained, but not after the first 4 songs. I'm already mentally checking out, personally.
All right, so entertainment value from me. I'm not going to disagree with Dave, but I'm going to say what I have said. I'm going to say what I've said every time I've reviewed Ozzy or Black Sabbath in the past. So this is not new news. I have always liked Sabbath slash Ozzy. I've never loved Sabbath slash Ozzy. Never bought a single album of either. And this album kind of personifies my view of both of these entities. I think, that's that the best album that you can buy is a greatest hits album, because I really, 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 really like the hits. The rest of it is is fine, but Rat Salad is a skipper, for sure. I don't have a problem with Planet Caravan. It's a slow tempo, kind of a groove song, very much a part of its time, which is fine. I mean, I like a lot of that music, so I don't hate it, uh, but I just don't have any connection to about 4 of these songs.
That's
Whereas,
good. I like how we brought skippers back for this one particular record when we haven't done it for like all
oh,
50
we just
records. That's
haven't had.
cool. Hey, thanks.
I
Thanks,
haven't
guys.
Dude,
had. I haven't had these.
the top 10 has been filled with mostly gems.
Yeah,
Mm,
and look, I have
mm.
Iron Man's "Invaders" as the worst song in there, and a definite skipper.
Oh, you want to
One
talk
million
about skippers?
percent.
Y'all were going in on Invaders last time. All in. I was just catching
I didn't have a
strays
problem
left.
with Invaders. Go watch the
Well,
video. How much do I say about it?
okay. Well, 2 people were dunking
People
on
hated
it for like at least 3 to 4 minutes of the video.
Well, hey, Jason, why don't we just go ahead and move on to top tracks here and give us your top tracks for the record?
I mean, it's going to be pretty easy because it's the best 3 songs on here, consensus wise. Number 3, War Pigs. Number 2, Paranoid, and number 1, Iron Man.
All right. I'll go with Adrian's, and then I'll go with myself. So Adrian has Electric Funeral as his number 3. Number 2, he has War Pigs, and number 1, Iron Man. My top 3 are not different than Jason's. Although I don't know if the order is the same. I don't think the order is the same. My number 3 is Paranoid. And then I think a somewhat significant step up to that is Iron Man. And then like way in the stratosphere for me is War Pigs. I think that is the quintessential Black Sabbath track. I think it stands head and shoulders above the rest of this record by like just infinitely. And it to me it's a top 50 metal track of all time by any band.
It's a good call. For me, I have 2 honorable mentions just because I had a hard time wheeling it down. One of the honorable mentions for me is Hand of Doom. Just a great song. Love the vibe of it. Another one that's really it's taken a really long time for me, and it's always been a little bit of a grower for me. But it's Fairies Wear Boots. This was a song early on that I wasn't a big fan of, and I've heard it live a bunch of times now because Sabbath likes to play it live every time. And through the years of hearing it live and kind of coming back to it, it's just one of those songs that I forget about it sometimes, and then going back through here again, I just remember like how much I've enjoyed it, how much I've grown to enjoy it through the years. So Fairies Wear
That would be my
Boots,
that
Jack
one
the
would be
Stripper.
my honorable mention.
That's a cool track. Number 3 for me, Planet Snoozevan. Again, just a good change of pace. I really like the track. I love Ozzy's vocals on the track, so really neat. Number 2 for me, Electric Funeral. Just brutal. Just a brutal riff. It's probably the heaviest song on the record for sure. And then number 1 for me, this is like Metallica's Enter Sandman for me, right? It's War Pigs. It's a song that I get it. You've probably heard it a billion times. I don't care how many times I hear it. I don't skip it. And live, this is probably, I don't know, a top 2 or 3 track live. I mean, Ozzy plays it every single time, and Sabbath plays it. So I've seen this thing live like 15 times.
Everybody in the world knows these, like the lyrics for a lot of these songs.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun covers floating around out there. War Pigs, Faith No More, Government Mule does one. Cake does a good one. It's pretty interesting. So, dude, War Pigs is just it's an unassailable metal classic song for sure.
All right. Audio
Iron
production.
Iron Man's overrated. I just want everybody to know that. All right, audio production. We get into this album is produced by Roger Bain. Again, this album is kind of the bane of my existence because it's kind of irrelevant. This is a remaster probably 3 times over, and look, it sounds good for a 1970s record.
Yep. Adrian agrees. Sounds good for the time, and I do as well.
I agree. I don't know if you said it's one of those situations where it's a 1970 and I don't know how many times it's been redone, but it sounds fantastic.
I mean, it's 53 years old. It sounds good to me.
Sounds better than me, and I'm not 53 yet, but I'm getting close.
No. All right. Well, hey, we're moving into the last category here. This is legacy. This is where we like to actually give a score for the record. So just to give you some context on how we score these things, for a lot of folks out there, they would give it like a 7 as an average score. For us, 5 is an average score. So if we score an album 4.9 or lower, that's various levels of we wouldn't recommend that record, right? Anything 5 and above is various levels of we enjoy that record. And anything between a 9 and a 10 is just, it's S tier, absolute legendary record. So the only record I think we have actually put in that category right now is just Ride the Lightning, right? As a total show.
Correct.
I mean, we each have our own, favorites in there. So, but as a total, out of up to now 48 records, Ride the Lightning is the only record that's a group consensus 9+. So
correct.
All right, let's save Adrian's score for last. Who's going to give it the lowest? Jason, go first.
All right. Look, this album is not by any means any kind of a bad album. Yes, I can say that there for me is one skipper, but for the most part, it's a jam. Like, it's easy to listen to for the most part, and the hits are iconic. I mean, there is no substitute for the type of hit rate that they had for making something that everybody on the planet pretty much knows. I do believe that this belongs on the top 50 metal list. I do think this is an important record, so I did give it a little bit of extra boost for that. My score is a 7.3.
Oh shit! Dave may have the lowest score then.
I do not.
Okay.
So look.
Good for you guys.
So
way to join the rest of the intellectuals.
So look, I was poking the bear a little bit because of Josh. It's fun to rile him up some. But I do think that this record is incredibly important. Now, full disclosure, I would come out early and say that Black Sabbath overall doing this top 50 has slightly disappointed me in the sense that I thought I liked them more than I did. And going through this list, I think it's just the realization that I just don't like them as much as I originally thought. That being said, this record is incredibly important. This is the the Ford Model T. This is the original blueprint of metal. This is the Wright brothers getting the plane out of that beach. But it's still a 7.3 for me as well. Jason, we're the smartest people here, given the exact
Obviously.
same score and shit. Yeah, I think it's an important record, although not something that I would whip out and just jam for leisure all the time, or most often not.
Look, certainly an important record, right? I think a lot of people, again, I referenced Inner Sandman earlier. I think a lot of people could say that this is almost like their Black album because it's more accessible for a lot of folks and it has the hits on it, right? As it does. And look, full transparency, this is the first Sabbath record I heard, right? So this is what got me into them a million years ago. And then I think, as you do with any band, right? Like I don't know that the first album you ever hear from a band ends up being your favorite album from that band. I don't know. Dave, what was the first Metallica record you heard? Was it Master?
From start to finish, yes.
So that worked out in your case. Jason, same?
As far as from Metallica, yeah, because the Master was my introduction.
All right, so maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But anyway, in a lot of cases for me, that's not always the case. Like the Black Album is the first one I heard, but the Black Album is not my favorite, Metallica record, right? It's Justice. So while this is a great, intro, it's a gateway drug, right, to get you into Sabbath, I still think Master of Reality is the better album. So for this one, I'm going to come in slightly less than what I gave that. I'm going to give this one a 9.4.
I tried to guess everybody's scores. I had you pinned in for a 9.7. I thought you were going to go 0.1 less than Master, but 9.4. All right. So Adrian's this album holds a special place in Adrian's heart. He recalls, his dad sharing this song with him, or this album with him growing up, among others. And so, this is a very nostalgic, a very childhood rekindling album for him. He absolutely thinks it belongs on this list, and he does think it's the most important metal album of all time. And he does say that if he was dumb enough to have kids of his own, this would absolutely be an album he would show them as well. He is giving this his championship belt for the best score of all time, and it's getting a 10.
Wow.
Look, I all that trash I was talking, I 100% respect that score. If it's important to you, nobody cares what I got to say anyway. So that puts this album at a highly, highly, highly respectable, I'm talking to Josh here, 8.5. That is an A tier score. That is 8.5 out of 10 for us. I can actually just tell you guys, that is the fourth highest score we've got given as a collective. Okay. That's 4. That's really strong of a score.
Which 3 albums beat it? Ride, Justice, and what?
And tentatively another album that we have yet to discuss.
Okay. So just Metallica's beating this one. Okay.
Yeah. So outside of Metallica, this is the number 1 album on the list. I think that is...
Metallica didn't exist in this multiverse. How about to be number 1?
Yeah. So there you go.
All right. Well, hey, I hope you guys like the video here. We are very nearly coming to the end of this list.
One more.
We got one more album coming up here. We've actually invited a special guest for our last show here. This is actually going to be a friend of the show, Chainsaw Reacts. He's got a nice reaction channel here on YouTube that has a lot of different stuff on it, right? He does some metal, but he does a lot of pop culture as well. So if you guys haven't ever heard of him or you haven't checked him out before, go check him out. It's Chainsaw Reacts. Yep, he's got some good hardwired reactions back in the day. That's how I discovered him, right? So he'll be on with us next week to discuss the all-time classic Master of Puppets. So, hey, in the meantime, hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're putting out weekly metal content. We got metal reactions, metal reviews, metal time machines, and all kinds of other cool shit. And hey, in the meantime, live long and prosper.
Take it easy, everybody. See ya.
See ya.
One last thing. All hate, bring it to me.
No.
Later.